How's everybody doing today? This is Corey Lee's Boxing, and we are back with another banger. So please smash the hell out of that like button, you guys, and subscribe. And yeah, man, we're gonna talk this boxing today, man. Artur Beterbiev versus Joe Smith Jr. It's going down this weekend at the Madison Square Garden. I'm letting you guys know now, man. This is gonna be a really entertaining fight, man. I'm so happy, so stoked, so just turned up about this fight, man. It's been a long time into the making. I feel like both guys, man, has what it takes to end the night, man. Both guys have what it takes to end the night. Joe Smith Jr., they did, the little 24/7 thing on ESPN. If you guys haven't checked it out, go to ESPN on YouTube, and you guys can watch like the 24/7 they got already out on both fighters' backgrounds and where they come from. And you know, I didn't know Artur Beterbiev, father had passed and stuff like that. And then I didn't know about Joe Smith Jr. that he stopped working for the union, and he was a full-time union worker when he knocked out Bernard Hopkins. And so I knew things about that. I knew he was a union worker, and I knew he was still working, but I didn't know he had stopped working now. So I guess he had stopped. So he's just taking the boxing, I guess, 100% full fledged right now. And I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad at him, man. He's a really good talented fighter. Joe Smith Jr., man. For what for what you guys might believe in, he's actually a pretty good fighter, man. I didn't know though, his trainer has only really trained him. His head trainer, he's saw a liking to Joe Smith Jr. and ever since that day they met, he said he was been the only guy that he's trained. And I guess he trained him. I guess he started out in the amateurs when he started training Joe Smith Jr. and it lasted until now, where they both where he's training him now. I mean, Joe Smith Jr. is a good fighter. I just think stylistically he does have some things that he's got to. I just feel like right now Joe Smith Jr. can get hit easily, and I feel like if you can get hit that easy by Bivol, guys like that, and I'm not taking anything away from Bivol. I think he's an excellent fighter, but if you can get hit by guys like that, and I feel like Artur Beterbiev is gonna hit way harder than Bivol, in my personal opinion, man. Beterbiev is a monster, man. I just think he's very dedicated. He's like the Terminator, man. He's almost like a fucking robot, he does not. It's like he just keeps coming. He keeps coming, bro. You're going to have to knock him out for him to not come at you like that, man. You got to knock him out cold. That's the only way you're going to be Beterbiev, yo. Knockout, cold. If not, he gonna pick you apart. And he might lose some rounds. You know what I mean? We've seen in the Gvozdyk fight that Beterbiev has lost rounds. And, some people thought he was down in that fight. But in the 9th round, boom, ice season. And that's all it took. And moving forward, I just think that Artur Beterbiev is a really devastating puncher, man. He's a very devastating puncher, and you guys got to watch out for him, man. I don't think he gets enough credit, for the amount of punching power he has, and stuff like that. I just think he's a really good power puncher. But yeah, man, so right now I just want to break down both fighters, but I feel like both fighters, stylistically mesh pretty well together actually. Joe Smith Jr. is a come forward, stay busy type guy. He's real busy actually. He's got a very high work rate, but in the Bivol fight, I feel like he wasn't as, he was a little bit more tentative, because that jab was out there and that jab was busting him up, man. And, I just feel like after a while, Joe Smith Jr., I thought Bivol could have possibly maybe stopped Joe Smith Jr., but it's like you got to worry about what's on the end of that, when you go in for the kill, you know what I mean? When you go in for that shot, Joe Smith Jr. could catch you with a shot, So I think that's why a lot of fighters, give him that type of respect all the way into the last bell. We seen that in the Bivol fight. There was times in that fight where I thought Bivol might have been able to, push the gas a little bit and maybe go for the stoppage because he was dominating that fight against Joe Smith Jr. But he didn't. He didn't. And he wound up, just winning a unanimous decision. But I think he could have possibly pressed the gas in the Bivol fight. But I think Bivol was a lot younger back then on his pro rankings. And I think even now, even in the Canelo fight, man, I think Bivol could have possibly stopped Canelo, man. I know you guys are going to be like, come on, Corey, you tripping, bro. You tripping. But, I mean, am I really, though? Trap Media, what's happening, man? What's going on, my brother? How's everything going today, man? Let me drop that link for you guys, man. You guys might want to join this G so I can hear what you guys got to say about this masterful fight. It's going to be a big fight, man. It's a big fight. It's a hardcore fight right here, man. This is a hardcore fight. I mean, I got Beterbiev, probably icing that kid, you know what I mean? Like, for real. I think Beterbiev is different, man. But I just think, Joe Smith Jr., breaking down both fights. I feel like Joe Smith Jr. could be in all the way into the end, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, I really, truly feel like he can be into the end. Even if he's losing the fight, even if he's down on all the scorecards. Joe Smith Jr. is that Rocky type of guy, man. I'm letting you guys know now so you guys be like, Corey said it first. The only way I see Joe Smith Jr. winning this fight is if he catches Beterbiev with a shot that Beterbiev does not see coming. Okay? Beterbiev is one of them type of guys, man, where he does go for the kill. He has that switch, man. And that's why I love that motherfucker, man. Because he goes in for the kill like some other fighters should, but they don't. You see fighters all the time hurt a guy and don't go in for that, you know what I mean? It takes a special fighter to do that, man. Beterbiev has knocked out every last opponent he has been in the ring with, man. Every last opponent he's been in the ring with, he's knocked them out. Ice season. So it's like, if you're knocking out guys like that quick, and like some of these knockouts, did you see what he did to Marcus Brown? I mean, I'm being honest. Have you guys seen what he did to him? He fucked him up, man. He fucked old boy up, man. Old boy might not ever be the same, yo. I mean, because Beterbiev gives you that false hope, okay? He lets you land on him, you know what I mean, so he can time you, okay? It's a timing thing. And once he has your timing down, like he did on Marcus Brown, it was a wrap. It was a wrap. He could not do nothing else after that, And I just think the more we study this fight, the more we look into this fight, man, is the more I'm just like, man, you guys gotta be real with this shit, man. Artur Beterbiev is just a beast, man. He's just a different monster, man. And I don't think enough people give him credit. I don't think enough people give Artur Beterbiev credit. He's a like I said, when you're in the ring with Artur Beterbiev, you got to be very cautious on all your punches, that are being thrown, because he can counter you at any time. He's a very, very good counter puncher. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, man. The more I study this fight, the more I look at this fight, Joe Smith Jr. is going to have to bring his A++ game to beat this man. This is not going to be an easy fight. Capadonna 24. What's goody? What's going on, man? Shout out to Capadonna 24, man. No doubt in the building, man. You know what I mean? We got the guys in here today, man. We're gonna talk this boxing a little bit, man. Charles D, what's happening, man? He says, "What's good, Corey?" Yeah, man, we talking this Beterbiev versus Joe Smith breakdown. And right now, I just want to tell you guys, if you guys are just joining, smash that like button and subscribe. But Artur Beterbiev, I don't think you guys understand, is a destructive motherfucker, yo. Straight up, man. The dude is a fucking animal. He's an animal. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to be... This fight is going to end in a knockout. Whether it's Beterbiev getting knocked out, which we've seen him get knocked down before in fights. You know, Joe Page Jr., which is probably a journeyman now, okay, knocked Beterbiev down. It was a flash knockdown, but I remember that fight. I believe it was in Quebec, Canada, too. You know, he knocked him down in that fight. And it was another fight as well. He got knocked down in... Which fight was that? Beterbiev fought... He didn't get knocked down in the Gvostic fight. He stood up in that fight. It was the fight... Oh, the Callum Johnson fight. The Callum Johnson fight. Okay? Beterbiev and Callum Johnson fought, and Callum Johnson hurt Beterbiev. That was the first time I seen Beterbiev hurt. You know? He did hurt him, though. I'm going to be honest with you guys, man. Beterbiev hurt that man. You know? It was one of them shots where Callum Johnson was throwing and Artur Beterbiev was throwing at the same time, and Callum Johnson's landed first. And when it landed, it backed up Beterbiev, and he got all of his bearings lost, and he had to go down. He went down. He went down, yo. So when I seen that, and I seen the way he got back up, when he got back up, he was kind of still on shaky legs. He didn't have all his bearings with him. So when I seen that, I was like, damn, this motherfucker hurt Beterbiev. You know what I mean? Beterbiev can be hurt. You know, that's when I was like, that's when I really started studying Beterbiev. Like, was that a flash knockdown? Because you can't say that Callum Johnson punch was a flash knockdown because he was really hurting that fight. He was really hurting that fight. He was significantly hurting that fight, man. You guys can say what you guys want, man, but if you guys really study that fight the way I did and the way I look at these fights, he was hurting that fight. You know? And I just think that, you know, looking from the outside in and trying to just see this fight for what it is, you know, with two champions, okay? You know, Joe Smith Jr. went through a lot to get that title. You know, he lost a couple times on his way to being his first world title, man. Joe Smith Jr. was not a world titleist, you know, a couple years ago. He just won his world title within the last year or two, okay? He's only had one title defense. I mean, come on, man. He's a new champion, but it's like, dude, he's not trying to lose his belt neither, though. You know what I mean? You gotta say what you gotta say about Artur Beterbiev, but then you gotta go back and say what you gotta say about Joe Smith Jr. Because Joe Smith Jr. ain't coming in here to walk down. I mean, to lay down, man. Joe Smith Jr. is bringing that New York fire. You know what I'm saying? For all you New York guys out there, he's bringing that Long Island, you know what I'm saying, fire, man. He said, man, I knew it was either me or him, man. Yeah. He said that shit in the 24/7. And I was like, wow, man, this guy's really, you know, he's showing that he's got the guts, the courage, and he's showing you motherfuckers like, look, man, I'm here, man, and I'm not going nowhere. You're going to have to put me down. You know what I mean? And he said he was losing the fight that he won the world title in, and he said that he knew that he had to, you know, he knew that he was going to lose his fight because he had already tasted defeat with Bivol. So when he was fighting this other guy, I forgot his, let me go to his name and see what his name is. Because I want to tell you guys exactly how I feel about this fight. And I want you guys to get names with faces. Faces with names. So he fought for his world title. He fought for a vacant world title Maximum Vlasov, okay? Glasgow. He fought him, okay, in a very, very close fight. Smash that like button. Stop what you guys are doing and smash that like button, y'all. Let's get these likes up, man. Come on, man. This is Corey Lee Boxing. We here, man. We going live, man. Get these likes up. Let's get these shares up. Let's get this fucking, this mood up, man. Get the fuck up. Nah, I'm just fucking. But yeah. So in the Glasgow fight, in Maximum, he fought, and it was a close fight. It was a close fight. You guys gotta understand, man. When you looking at this fight, Joe Smith Jr. can get outboxed. Period. Well, he knows that, though. He knows that. He knows he's not the best boxer. His trainer knows that. But it's the grit. It's the determination. It's the I gotta get it done and I gotta be first mentality that, Joe Smith Jr. has had. And I think that's got him where he's at. And so for him to win that fight, on the scorecards read Gerald Ritter, 115-112. Pat Russell, 115-113. David Sutherland, 114-114. A draw. Come on now, y'all. If these judges had it that close, one judge had it a draw, so that means, so this was a mid-decision, not a split decision, but a mid-decision. So that means one of the judges had it a draw. So, that was a close fight, man. And that was for his world title that he won. Now, he did get a little gimme. I'm not going to say it was a gimme, but he fought a guy after that named Steve Jafar, and he fought him, and he knocked him out. I knew he was going to knock him out. I remember the tape. I remember him saying that he was going to win that fight, and, the other guy, the guy Steve, was saying he was going to win that fight, but I'm like, I don't believe you, dude. I don't believe. Then I looked at his fights, and I'm like, I definitely don't believe you now. After I looked at this dude, Steve's fights when he fought Joe Smith Jr., I was like, he's not beating him. I know how to gauge talent. That's why I'm saying, and that's why and shout out to Champ Ross in the prediction league, man. Your boy is as one of the guys at the top of KO predictions, okay? And what I mean by KO predictions is, you gotta predict the fighter and the round that he's gonna knock the guy out in. Okay, I'm one of the top 5 guys in the prediction league that predicts shit like that. Yeah, and I think 2 seasons ago I was 2nd overall. You know what I'm saying? Out of I think almost 100 people. So come on, man. And these are people that know boxing. These are motherfuckers that you guys listen to all the fucking time. That you're like, oh yeah, you hear such and such breakdown, man. Dude, if you're like that in the prediction league, it'll show. You know what I mean? So, period. But and that's predicting the fight and the round that he's gonna win it. So you gotta predict all that shit. But yeah, man, Joe Smith Jr., his chances of winning this fight are slim. The reason why I say they're slim is because Artur Beterbiev is a better fighter. He's got over 400 amateur fights. Joe Smith Jr.'s got 30. You know what I mean? And it's not even all about the amateur fights. This is about the way they fight. Joe Smith Jr. can get beat by the jab. Andre dissect the shit out of Joe Smith Jr. But there's no Andre Wards in the division anymore. So, to be honest with you guys, Artur Beterbiev is one of the closest things, not to Andre Ward, but to greatness like that. Because Andre Ward has gave Artur Beterbiev credit. He said Canelo Alvarez will not fight Artur Beterbiev. You know what I mean? So you got future Hall of Famers saying that Canelo, that he's not gonna fight this guy that Joe Smith Jr. is fighting right now. Okay. If you're saying if guys, and Andre Ward knows his fights, man. Being what you guys might want to say about Andre Ward. His breakdowns be pretty spot on, yo. I be listening to his breakdowns. It be pretty spot on. So, for me to see that, I'm like, man, this guy really knows what he's talking about, and I'm like, okay. He said that Canelo Alvarez, some of you guys, is top pound for pound guy in the sport of boxing, said, okay, that he would never fight Artur Beterbiev, the guy that's fighting Saturday night, the guy I'm talking about right now, the guy that this video is about, okay? Some of you guys is pound for pound fighter in the entire world of boxing, the best fighter in the world, okay? Ward is saying that Canelo is scared to him. Okay, so that in it too is just, like, wow, what? And Andre Ward doesn't make crazy predictions like that on all his fighters and on all his breakdowns. I mean, he works for ESPN, but he doesn't say a guy is scared to fight another guy. Like, we're men at the end of the day. Everybody's in the ring, and you know what I mean? But he's saying Canelo Alvarez will not fight Beterbiev. You know what I mean? He said that out of his mouth. So when I heard that, I was like, okay. This is a different breed right here. A whole different breed right now. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about. Let me just show you guys, man, so you guys can see this shit. Because Artur Beterbiev is a devastating puncher. And, for him, I feel like he can beat you. He can beat you in so many different ways, man. He can beat you in so many different ways, bro. I really want to find this. I want to find this this video I got of Artur Beterbiev, and dude's a monster. Let's get that off the top right now. Dude's a monster, and he's a brutal fighter. Here we go, y'all. I found it. All right. Y'all ready? Oh, this is just his training. This is just his training. This is just his training montage. But yeah, Artur Beterbiev has. Hold on. Because I want you guys, Andre Ward's a future Hall of Famer, bro. And I, you know what's so crazy? I interviewed Andre Ward, and I should have asked him about him, man. Fuck. You ever interview somebody that you guys want to interview, or you guys maybe not do media, but I'm just talking shit right now. But you ever talk to somebody where you like, man, I should have asked this motherfucker way more questions. But you guys got to understand, Andre Ward was heading out. And he was, I got into questions I could, the quick as I could. This was at the Teofimo Lopez fight. So I had to get into questions, like off the top of my fucking head. So I was just like, well, let me just, say what's on my mind right now. And I asked him some damn good questions, y'all. I asked Andre Ward. I think I got like a 10, 15-minute interview on Andre Ward. Shout out to Andre fucking Ward, man. Fucking beast, bro. I gotta give him respect, man. See, look. This was fight hype. This was. Look. Look at this. Look. Look. Here we go, y'all. Found the video.
Andre, I'd love to see Canelo Beterbiev. I love that Styles matchup. But if you want to fight, it better be right, of course.
See? That's Andre Ward saying that.
Andre, because I love Canelo Beterbiev. I love that Styles matchup. But if you want to fight, it better be right, of course.
See that shit?
Here we go again, friends, as we introduce you to another Power Puncher to our video series. This one rose from the depths of Russia to go all the way and conquer the world at light heavyweight. And a right hand, and he covers up, and that is it.
That's what I'm telling you guys, man. Like, if you guys just watch a couple of those, this one right here, I would suggest all you guys go watch this, because this is a really good breakdown on Artur Beterbiev. It says, is this boxing's most dangerous puncher, Artur Beterbiev? I'm going to tell you guys why I like that video a lot. I said in 2019, this was about 3 years ago. Okay, I only made my YouTube channel about 3 to 4 years ago. So this was like really freshly new. This is one of my first videos I believe I ever made. Not ever made, but I think I was only like a couple months in making videos and shit. I made a video about Artur Beterbiev, and I said that I thought that Artur Beterbiev was the most dangerous and ducked fighter. Not even ducked, just avoided fighter in boxing as a whole. Out of all the fighters in boxing, Artur Beterbiev at that light heavyweight division was the most avoided fighter ever. And the reason why I said that is because Artur Beterbiev, when he was fighting for the IBF strap, okay, Andre Ward had retired, and he was going to retire, and Artur Beterbiev was coming in up the ranks, and he was the number one in a couple of sanctioning bodies. In the IBF, he was the number one, I believe, and he was doing his title shot. Okay, when Andre Ward retired, the belts went, pretty much. Artur Beterbiev fought for a vacant belt, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he fought for a vacant belt. And I'm gonna even go as far as to tell you guys who he fought, because he's only got 17 fights, 17 knockouts. But this was for the IBF strap. This was in 2017. And this was for the vacant, like I said, and it says right here, and I didn't know that 100%, but now I am 100% right. It says for the vacant IBF World Light Heavyweight title. So that was he fought Rico Cooley. Okay, the reason why you guys got to remember that name, Cooling, is because Cooling was ranked the number 9th. This was in 2017. Go check it out. This was in November 11th, 2017. So just do a couple of months before that, okay? Maybe 4 to 5 months before that. Just so you know what the fuck I'm talking about, so you know I'm not lying about nothing that I'm talking about. You guys can go do the research yourself. He fought Cooling, but Cooling was ranked Cooling at the time was ranked like the number 9th guy in the IBF rankings, okay? So when you're ranked the number 9th guy in the IBF rankings, okay? When you're ranked the number 9th guy in the IBF rankings, you're not going to fight for a fucking world title unless they pick you, and unless you got, this, like some guys could be ranked number 9 and maybe fight for the title, but that's very, very rare. And not only that, it's like, it almost never happens. So they had to reshuffle the rankings, okay? Because number 1 through 8 all said no. Marcus Brown was one of them. He was ranked number 5, I believe, in the IBF at that time. They wind up fighting later in his career after Artur Beterbiev had the ESPN backing behind him, and Marcus Brown had to fight him because he wanted a world title shot. Okay? But at that time, all 8 guys said no to fight Artur Beterbiev, okay? And this was in the time frame of 2017. He fought Cooling in November 11th, 2017. But just say a couple months before that. Just go check out the rankings from, let's just say July, my birthday. July 30th. Shout out to July 30th. But let's just say July 30th. If you go back and go check the rankings out, I guarantee you it will say Cooling was like number 9 or number 8 or whatever like that. I believe he might have been number 10. I think I might be giving him an extra couple positions. That's how I'll tell you what this shit is, bro. How scared the fuck is that in boxing, for real. They know who the fuck can fight, and they know who can't fight. They know Artur Beterbiev, man. You got to bring your lunch money with him and your fucking dinner and all that shit, man. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You need the whole. You know how they say, man. You gotta bring your lunch when you fucking with him, man. Like, meaning you gotta bring yourself plus some. Like, you better be pumped up for this. But for Beterbiev, you need to bring breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So, but yeah, so in the rankings, I just feel like number 1 through 9 avoided him. So he fought Cooling at number 10, and that's how they got the Cooling fight. Okay? And then after that, he wound up beating Colin Johnson, and that's the guy that I told you he got knocked down in 2018. 2019, he fought one time. And then 2019, he fought twice. And then between 2019 and 20, he didn't fight at all in 2020. And now he's fighting again twice in 2021. So they're keeping him busy. 2021, he fought twice. And now in 2022, see, he's fighting now. And he probably fight again. I think he'll beat Joe Smith Jr. And I think he'll fight. I think Beterbiev will fight again, possibly before the end of the year. Maybe December, maybe around that time. But yeah. The reason why I wanted to tell you guys that breakdown about how them guys avoided him is because Joe Smith Jr. is a throwback fighter. And I honestly think mentally he's not scared of Artur Beterbiev. He knows Artur Beterbiev can punch, and he knows he's a very dangerous fighter, but I don't think he's scared of him. For number one, I don't think he's scared of him. And number two, I think that Artur Beterbiev is in for a real fight. And what I mean by that is if this fight goes past 4 rounds, I just feel like, who can withstand the power shots the most? And I feel like, I truly feel like, Joe Smith Jr. can withstand a lot of power shots, but I just feel like Beterbiev hits way fucking different, bro. The more I think about how the fuck can Joe Smith Jr. take all these punches, bro? And the more I think about it, it's like the more I think about it, and the more shots that I know Joe's gonna take, the more I add them shots up and the more I dissect it, it's like he can't. No human body can take that type of punishment, I don't think, for 12 rounds. Period. And that dude Cooling, for some reason, I don't know, but I just feel like he was off his game in that fight. He was not on his game. He looked weird as shit in that fight. Maybe he was nervous because it was his first world title shot and shit like that. But he finally came together towards the later end of that fight, like the 10th, 11th, and 12th. And he wound up stopping Cooling in the 12th and final round. But he kind of looked lackadaisical. Like he didn't look like he was just going through the motions, like he was winning a comfortable 12-round decision. But then he went in for the kill, and I respect that, because he was like, you know what? I'm going to get this motherfucker out the way. And that's what you got to do. That's exactly what you got to do. But yeah, man, I think that Artur Beterbiev is going to win, you guys. And my prediction is I think he's going to win by an 8th or 9th round knockout. I think it's going to win. If it doesn't happen real early, okay, if it doesn't happen in the first 3 rounds, okay, because I think Joe Smith Jr. could possibly get stopped in the first 3 too. So I might take a play on the first 3 rounds, and then I might take a play on round 7 past. You feel what I'm saying? So I feel like if he doesn't get stopped in the first 3, it might go a couple rounds. They go through the motions, but then fatigue the accumulation of punches, and I think that shit will pick right back up in the 7th or 8th round. And I think that Artur Beterbiev will eventually, stop Joe Smith Jr. Joe Smith Jr. will succumb to his beating. I just feel like that's just what it is, as brutally honest as I can be. When I'm gonna start doing these predictions like this too, being brutally honest and I just saying what the fuck I feel, not giving a fuck what nobody thinks. That's just how I always been dealing with these predictions and shit. I be having people hit me up like, "Or what the fuck? You pick such and such. You pick such and such." Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But it's just the fact that I believe in that shit. I believe 137% that Artur Beterbiev will stop Joe Smith Jr. eventually. There's no way, because he's so defensively irresponsible, man. Like Joe Smith Jr. cannot. It was like, bro, he's got an offense and he's gonna want to throw, but if you're throwing and you know Artur Beterbiev is throwing, Artur Beterbiev is gonna be able to and see, but that's another thing too. Will Artur Beterbiev be able to take the punches that Joe Smith Jr. is dishing out? Joe Smith Jr. got some leather, some heat on that motherfucking punch, though. I'm gonna let you know that now. That's what makes this fight so intriguing, man, because you know Joe Smith Jr. is a pretty good fighter too. You know, I'm not taking anything away from Joe Smith Jr. He's a pretty good fighter too, and I just think that he shows why he's one of the better fighters in the division, because of his heart, his determination, his grit. But how much longer can Joe Smith take these wars? Your body can only take but so much. You know, and shout out to Jared Hurd. You know, I was in the camp with Jared Hurd for like 3 of his fights, you know, invite only. You know, and if you guys go check out the channel, I had his training montages on here and everything. And this is when he was a world champion. But it's like only but so much your body can take. He's taking a long break because I feel like that Arias fight, he shouldn't even have lost. You know, not the Jared Hurd that I know, and not the Jared Hurd I seen training. Fuck no. You know, he could stop a guy like that. But I mean, Arias be on his game too. You know, I'm not taking anything away from it. I think Hurd the way he trains is just a whole different beast, man, a different monster when he's on his A game. That's why a lot of people picked him to beat Charlo in the beginning. But he switched trainers, and you know things happen, and you know we'll just see. I heard he's making a little comeback, so we'll see. But as far as this fight goes, the Artur Beterbiev versus Joe Smith Jr. fight, you know Joe Smith Jr. is gonna the number one thing in this fight is gonna be Joe Smith Jr.'s defense, you know, or lack thereof. I just think that the more I look at this fight, bro, his defense has got to be 100%, dude. Joe Smith Jr.'s defense has got to be on 100%. You know, 70% can get you caught. You can get caught at just like that with Artur Beterbiev. And I've seen him knock guys out with grazing punches, like punches that like graze the temple or the head, and still knock guys equilibrium out. You know. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Dynamic Duo. He says, Coach Frankie, hi, first time watching. Hey, man, we just breaking down this. Welcome, first of all. Welcome. I'm Corey Lee, and this is Corey Lee Boxing. And we're just talking Artur Beterbiev versus Joe Smith Jr., a fucking monster of a fight, man. Both guys are very, very devastating power punchers. And it's like two fucking bulls, man. You see these type of fights, but you don't see these type of fights every weekend. So it's just like, I love these type of fights. I'm Mr. Ice Season. You know, I love the knockouts. I love the boxers and the Shakur Stevensons and the Devin Haney's in the world. But what I really love is knockouts, baby. That's what I really love. And that's why I watch boxing. You know, I watch boxing for the Ice Seasons, you know. Greatest hits, you know, and I just think that this fight will be on Corey Lee Boxing's Ice Season's greatest hits, man, because I just think that this fight is gonna bring that fire, man. You know, I really do, man. I really do. Dynamic Duo, Coach Frankie says, I agree that Archer is going to win, but Joe is going to give him a hell of a fight. Yeah. He says, yeah, me and you both. Oh, yeah, see? That's what I'm saying, man. I just think these two fighters, man, the more I think about it, they're just two bulls. And they gotta at some point you got when you keep going like this the whole night, somebody's not even will, but just somebody's body's gonna break down. Because I think both of these guys mentally up here, I think they're 100% in it. I don't think neither one has ever showed that their will has been broken in any fight. Okay, I don't think Joe Smith Jr.'s will has ever been broken, and I don't think that Artur Beterbiev's will has ever been broken or wavered. Okay, so I just think both fighters have showed that that mental fortitude that you need to be a world champion, they have that. Okay, so when you have two guys going toe to toe like this, and now they're gonna fight each other, I mean, you're looking at a matchup, dude, that can be one for the ages. You know, we've seen Artur Beterbiev get knocked down twice, 2 separate fights. The Colin Johnson fight, he got knocked down. It hurt badly. Jose Diaz in the chat, what's happening? He says, Jose Diaz says, it's whatever tags who's first. This fight is not going to go too long. Yeah, smash that like button. I feel you. I feel you on that, man. I feel you on that. Yeah, man. And you know, to be honest with you guys, man, the more I think about this, I just feel like Artur Beterbiev is stylistically is a really good fighter, you know, but he's defensively responsible as well. Yeah, he got caught by Colin Johnson, but Colin Johnson took a lot of punches, bro. You know? I mean, he took a lot of punches, bro. Artur Beterbiev was, I mean, that fight only lasted like 3 rounds. I think 4 rounds. And I mean, the way Colin Johnson's face looked after that fight was over with, I thought it was a 12-rounder. I mean, this dude's face looked crazy, and it was only 3 rounds. You know, let me see how many rounds that shit was. 4-round fight, man. 4 rounds. Let me show you guys what his face looked like after the fight. Because you guys got to know. You guys got to know the destruction that this guy has. Look at that shit. Look at that shit. I'm gonna show you guys a close up, man, because you guys that matters. That matters. Like I don't give a fuck what you guys say. That matters, man. Destruction, power. You know, this is the human skull. You know what I mean? They said Beterbiev he beat Sergey Kovalev in the amateurs twice. Okay. Lost a very close decision to my number 1 pound-for-pound fighter, Alexander Usyk. Okay? Let me show you guys what the freak is going on in here. Yeah, man. He gave him the business. Damn, man. But he did knock him down. To his credit, to Colin Johnson's credit, he knocked Artur Beterbiev down. But I just feel like that you got to do more than that to win these fights, man. You got to do more. You can't just knock a guy down and not capitalize off that shit, man. Like, oh, this is a good picture right here. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about. This is Corey Lee Studios, you guys. Corey Lee Studios, baby. Oh, shout out to everybody in the chat. Let's see what else you guys are talking about in the chat. Shout out to dynamic duo Coach Frankie. He says Beterbiev has never been past the 10th round. No, he has. Beterbiev has been 12 rounds, actually. He went 12 rounds with Cooley in his first world title shot. I actually watched that fight live. So he has been 12, but he stopped him in the 12th. Past the 10th round, so Joe's best chance is to take him to the 11th and 12th round. He's going to fight hard in front of his hometown. Yeah, that's true. That's a very good point too, dynamic duo. This is a hometown fight for Joe Smith Jr. So all of those Long Island people are going to make that commute to Madison Square Garden, which isn't that far, and it's gonna be jumping, man. Saturday night, man, this fight is gonna be jumping, man. It's gonna be a lot of fight fans, man. A lot of fight fans, watching this fight and being there live, and look at that, man. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about. This is the destruction I was talking about, you guys. See his face? This is only like the third. This is only like the second or third round. This is not even the fourth round, I don't believe. So it's like this is only in 2 rounds. Artur Beterbiev has this guy face like this. This is in third round right here. This was in the second or the third round when his face was started swelling up. And if you guys could just see his face when Artur Beterbiev was done with this dude, you know, I just really think you guys will give Artur Beterbiev a lot more credit, you know, than you guys have been. Because I just think he's a very, very devastating puncher, and he's the real deal. He's the real deal, man. See what you guys talking about in the chat. He says, Jose and Diaz in the chat says facts. He says, looks like a train ran him over. Yeah, man. Like when you guys look like that after only being in the fight for like, I'd say 2 to 3 rounds. That wasn't even the fourth round. 2 rounds, bro. 2 rounds of this from Archer. 2 rounds. Only 2 rounds. So it's like Artur Beterbiev, yeah, he got knocked down and hurt. First time I ever seen Artur Beterbiev hurt in a professional fight was the Colin Johnson fight. And that was his first title defense. You know? He was probably like, damn, these motherfuckers can punch back. Yeah. Yeah, you at the light heavyweight division. And Colin Johnson had a bang to him, man. What has Colin Johnson done since? Has he lost after that? That might have fucked him up. I feel like he could have Colin Johnson might have been able to be a world champion. But that shit was different, yo. Okay, so look, he's won 3 fights in a row. Colin Johnson has not lost since losing to Artur Beterbiev. He has won 3 fights in a row, 2 fights by knockout. Okay, so he's been winning. Guys have won after fighting Artur Beterbiev. Now, I feel like if that fight would have went 10 rounds instead of 3 or 4 rounds, Colin Johnson might not have been able to continue his career. Gvozdyk retired. Artur Beterbiev has retired guys. Okay? Gvozdyk had no way, shape, or form was he thinking about retirement going into that unification fight. He was not even talking about retirement. Artur Beterbiev made him retire. Okay? And he was not even thinking about retirement. Dynamic Duo in the chat says, Coach Frankie, you're right. Enrico Cooling went to the 12th round. Yup. I remember that fight, man, because like I said it again. Greg Cooling was ranked in July of 2017 in the IBF. He was ranked number 9. They had to reshuffle the top 10 rankings, and when they reshuffled him, they put Cooling because he already agreed to fight him. He was 1 through 9, did not accept the challenge from Artur Beterbiev to be for the fight for the vacant world title. Okay, and Cooling was the only one that accepted, and so that showed me. I don't know. A lot of people didn't take that into consideration, but Marcus Brown was one of those guys. He was ranked number 5 back then. He eventually fought Artur Beterbiev later. But I mean, dude, you got guys from 1 through 10 ducking. Okay, Artur Beterbiev, they say there's no ducks in boxing. I beg to differ. You know, I just think there is. And I think guys know who the fuck, can really fight. And Artur Beterbiev can really fight. You know what I'm saying? You got to, like I said, I'll say it again. When you fight Artur Beterbiev, guys normally say, yeah, you need to bring your lunch. You need to bring your lunch when you fucking with him. When you're fucking with Artur Beterbiev, you need to bring your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Dude is a menace to society. In that square circle, though. He's a good guy outside the ring, but he's in that square circle, man, he's brutal. He's brutal. On borderline illegal. I mean, he's one of those type of dangerous punchers, man. One of these punchers that come around once in a lifetime. And I mean, I'm going to say it. I know you guys will probably be like, what the fuck? I don't care. Artur Beterbiev is a once in a lifetime type of puncher. Okay? And I think you guys will see that. I think you guys will see that Saturday night. I'm 137% sure that Artur Beterbiev will get the knockout. Okay. But like I said, I will give Joe Smith credit because he does have a puncher's chance. You know, like I said, if this fight, my prediction is if this fight does not end in the first 3 rounds, then I feel like Artur Beterbiev will eventually stop Joe Smith Jr. and become 3-belt champion. Okay, at 175 pounds, I think it'll stop him in his 7th, 8th round. Okay, I'm picking the 8th round. I'm thinking the 8th or 9th round. But he could, yeah, I'm thinking the 8th or 9th round. Yeah, the 8th or 9th round. You know, the more I think about it, the 8th or 9th round, I think that's what I'm thinking. Jose Diaz in the chat says Beterbiev is no joke. He can crack. That's what I'm saying, bro. He says, Coach Frankie says, did anyone watch ESPN's Blood, Sweat, and Tears about this fight? Yeah, I did. I watched it. I think it was pretty good. Coach, I think that, Artur Beterbiev showed that he has a family. He's a family man. He has like 3 daughters, 2 boys, I think. He's got a pretty big family. His mom moved from Russia to Quebec, Canada. And Artur Beterbiev's got his family with him, man. He said his father passed, and I think that was big in his life because he said his father was his provider. And yeah, man, I just think that Artur Beterbiev, is one of those type of guys that can't get you out of there. I just think it doesn't matter about, both guys' family or what, but I just feel like, right now, you guys got to understand that, both guys are coming to knock each other's head off, period. There's no in between with this fight. And I think that greater skills and greater, a level head will prevail. And I think that'll be Artur Beterbiev. Stylistically, I think that Joe Smith Jr. doesn't have enough weapons to deal with Artur Beterbiev. Artur Beterbiev can knock you out with either hand. Joe Smith Jr., he has power in both hands, but, I just think Joe Smith Jr., he's normally one-hand dominant type of fighter. But like I said, I'm picking Beterbiev by knockout. Let me know what you guys think. He says, I haven't seen the second episode yet. Oh, yeah, I've seen the second episode too, Coach Frankie. I've seen the second episode. It's pretty good, bro. It was pretty good, man. They talked about some of the same things about training and stuff like that. And, I didn't know how fucking, like, Terminator-esque, Beterbiev was with his training. I knew he was a fucking monster to have a body like that, pause. But, when other guys work out, I work out like a lot. So when I work out and I walk through the gym, I know I'm more ripped and cut than probably 80% of the gym. I'm not being cocky. It's just that I'm in there a lot more than them. I put in the fucking work. So when I see a guy like Artur Beterbiev putting in that work, I'm like, God damn, this dude is a menace. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, he's different. He's different. Dude was doing so many training routines, man. I was like, damn. Then he was sparring. He broke dude's nose and sparring. Then they did an episode, the first episode, one of the dudes, they interviewed a guy from Mayweather's boxing gym, and he said he had been hit by a car when he was a kid. He said, this hurts worse than that, sparring Artur Beterbiev. I was like, damn, what the fuck? I was like, that's crazy, bro. And this is one of Mayweather's fighters, Floyd Mayweather. He was actually doing an interview in Floyd Mayweather's gym. Coach Frankie in the chat says, even though I agree, but in the fight game, any given night. Yeah. Hell yeah. Any given night, man. Any given night, and that's why I'm giving Joe Smith Jr. a slim chance. Not even a slim chance. He's got a chance, but in my personal eyes, I think it's slim. You guys might not understand that. It might not, think, give Joe Smith Jr. a lot more credit than he, than I would give him. I'm giving him so much credit, though. I'm thinking he's an awesome guy. I think, but I'm picking boxing as a win or lose thing. You know what I mean? Well, who do I think is going to win? Why do I think they're going to win? How do I think they're going to win? You know, that's what I break down. That's what I broke down in this video for almost an hour long. You know what? It's 54 minutes. We're going to go ahead and go to 5. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to wrap this up in 1 hour, you guys. So 5 more minutes. We're going to do the 5-minute countdown now. If you guys have any questions to ask about any other fights out there, you guys can ask me. And I'll break those down as well towards the end, you know. Shout out to Devin Haney. He got his win over George Kambosos. That was a, you know, really, really good win. His back was against the wall. He was fighting against hostile territory. He went in there and got the job done. They were playing games with his father, not letting his father come because he had charges. You know, I think drug charges from like 30 years ago. It wasn't even violent. I'm like, damn, dude didn't even, you know, you know what I mean? Dude didn't even do nothing like that for him to even get like that. So I don't understand that shit, man. He says, Beterbiev KO, facts. Yeah. Jose Diaz says, look at his age. I ain't still brings the thunder and the lightning. He can crack, bro. He is a gift from God. Yeah. And I think you're talking about Artur Beterbiev. I'm almost positive you're talking about Artur Beterbiev, and I agree. He says, Coach Frankie in the chat says, I knew Devin was going to win. You did? You never made your prediction here? Nah, I'm just joking, man. I'm just joking, bro. But yeah, I just think that you know, Devin Haney won. He showed that he's definitely levels ahead of what we thought was the best fighter at that division. I never thought that George Kambosos was the best fighter in 135 pounds. But if you guys go for belts and, you know, what have you done in the sport at 135, I think that at that time, you know, you could say that George Kambosos was the best in those scenarios. But I think that Gervonta Tank Davis is the best at 135 pounds. I think that power advantage that he has is an equalizer. And I think that, you know, he showed me some shit. He showed me some different shit in that Broly fight, you know. I thought that, you know, I really thought that, you know, he was going to box better. You know, he was acting kind of skittish and not scared, but he was kind of acting like he was playing defense a lot. You know, he was playing defense a lot in that fight. And I think he gave Rolly a lot more credit, but Rolly can crack though. So you kind of, I guess, he had to play the high guard. You know, he was playing the high guard all night. And, he was softening, Rolly up, landing shots from here to there. He lost some rounds. Rolly was winning. But Rolly just had his chin out. I mean, he had his chin out all night just to get flamed upon, at the end, in the 6th round, I believe. And it was just like, dude, Rolly can talk his game and talk his shit. But at the end of the day, skills pay the bills. And I always thought that Tank Davis was going to win, and I always thought he was going to win by knockout. Did it come later than I expected? Yeah, because I think I picked the 4th round knockout. But it was like, dude, I wasn't listening. I was listening to the shit that Rolly was saying, but I wasn't, I was listening to the shit, but I wasn't taking him seriously, as I could say. You know what I mean? I wasn't taking him seriously, to be honest. I'm going to just be honest with you guys, man. But yeah, man, I'm going to wrap it up. Okay, shout out to the chat. Let me go to the chat real quick. He said Martha Stewart went over there and did a show. She had felonies, federal penalties. She did 5 years. Mark, whatever his name is, he's a singer or a dancer or something. White boy, he had felonies. Wow, that's crazy. Coach Frankie in the chat says Tank got hurt, but at the end out, but he at the end outsmarted Rolly. Okay, Rolly was overconfident. He was though. He was, and that can get you touched up. That can get you touched up big time. Um, but yeah, man, this is Corley Boxing. You've definitely been hit with another banger. And I hope you guys love the live stream. We went for an hour on this one, man. Shout out to both fighters, Artur Beterbiev and Joe Smith Jr. And may the best man win Saturday night. I will be watching. I will be going live, possibly. And thank you guys for watching Corley Boxing, man. I'll check you guys on the next one. Peace out, you guys.